Sulaiman, what do you think about Donald Trump and his support or not support of ICE?
Yeah, I think the way the entire situation has been handled has been extremely incompetent and extremely bad. So there's two ways of dealing with this issue. Either you just leave it, or you deal with it in a very systemized, harsh manner. And what harshness means is not shooting someone in the face, right? So it's just think about it when you deal with a kid. You can either, so my children, I've never had to hit them because they know what the rules are. They understand what it is. And then they know they won't break the boundaries. But when you basically deal with the issue that you did, where you're basically sending ICE agents in and you're basically doing it based on some kind of propaganda that Nick Shirley's put out or whatever it may be, it's just going to ferment the situation and make it a lot worse. So therefore, you have to either go in harshly or light. In addition to that, what happened was with the ICE situation of shooting Renee Good, again, I think it was done intentionally in order to ferment these riots and ferment hatred by both sides, because a very easy way to de-escalate the situation was you wouldn't have JD Vance coming out and fighting with a lawyer on X. You would just be, look, we need to work out what's happened. We're going to investigate the situation. There'll be an independent inquiry, and I think everyone will be happy with it. What's happened is, what it seems to suggest is that what's happening is the people in charge, whether it's the Vice President of the United States of America or DHS, whoever, are trying to hide or take cover for the ICE officer, and therefore people are seeing this as a state-sanctioned hit.
What did the ICE agent do wrong?
Shoot her.
Well, to Tate's point, why did he shoot 4 times?
Three times,
I can kind of understand. No, it's actually now it came out. Look it up there.
Okay.
Now they said there was 4 shots. I only saw
Really?
3 too.
I only saw 3 as well.
I only saw 3. Supposedly, I just read today that there was actually 4 shots. But I guess, was 1 shot not enough, Tate?
No, it doesn't. Well, when you're dealing with the use of force issue, it doesn't matter. Like the number of times that he shoots is totally irrelevant. Like it's not a situation.
That's not true. When a cop shoots somebody, they actually have to put a specific report for actually each bullet that they shoot.
Yeah, but when it's in that span of time, it's considered the same use of force.
Yeah, all 3 shots were dispatched in like a single second.
Yeah,
but I'm saying typically in law enforcement they have to do reports for each separate shot.
But from different angles,
right? Still part of the.
It doesn't matter because it's a use of defensive force, right? The police officer is moving across the front of the car. There's a lot of people that make a stink about him being in the car. He was walking around the car. He wasn't posted up in front of the car. He was moving across the car. As soon as she accelerated, wherever the wheels were pointed, it doesn't matter. As soon as she accelerated, he is in a position where he's like, I'm in defense of my life, and he's authorized to use defensive force. That's the long and short.
I think 1 shot maybe was justified, but at the same exact time, you saw Donald Trump say that the guy was in the hospital. Did you see that?
He got hit. Yeah. Well, they bring him to the hospital because he was actually hit by the car, and he's alleged to have had at least. A government official said that he's had internal bleeding. So
according to that, that's according to CBS
okay,
News.
so if you don't want to believe the stuff that the government says, that's fine, right? But we can only go by with the information that we have.
But we have to look at who the reporting's from. So the reporting's from CBS, Barry Weiss. That's an important point to note. In addition to that, you basically got another issue, which is when you look at what happened. Look, his life wasn't threatened. The car was at standstill. No,
it doesn't matter.
Right, but his life wasn't threatened. And the first shot happened.
Yes, it was. The car was moving towards him. The car is
zero. It was like 2 miles an hour.
A car is a deadly weapon.
At 2 miles an hour, it's not a deadly weapon.
So the argument that you're making would be the same argument if you said, well, the gun, the perpetrator had a gun, but he wasn't pointing it at the officer. Police don't have to wait until you're pointing at a gun at them or you're shooting at them. As soon as the person's in the car, refuses to get out and hits the accelerator, as soon as the car starts moving towards him, he doesn't have to be like, oh, I know what the car is going to do to defend himself.
So there's 2 points. One thing is her wheel was completely turned.
Doesn't matter. We already talked about that. Doesn't matter.
The second thing is he's going at 2 miles an hour. And why that's
doesn't matter.
Why that's important is because, for example, I just saw a video yesterday, like, Nick Sauter. Me and him came up together on X. But that being said, so I like him. But that being said, there was a video of him literally going faster than that. Does that mean all their lives are in danger? They could have just murdered him? It's craziness.
None of them were
officers. 2 miles an hour.
There was no police officer.
No, but life in danger. Your argument is his life was in danger.
No. The
what about civilian life being in danger?
If there is someone in front of the car, if Nick Shirley's driving down the street, he's not endangering people on the street.
Right.
Nick Sauter.
No, there was people in front of him. No, so my question to you is this.
But that's also not a police officer. That's not also
I'm just pointing out it's a false equivalent. We're talking about 2 different
Okay, let me ask you a question though.
situations.
So, because you said the cop's life was in danger, if there's a civilian and there's one question I'm not going to. If there's a civilian whose life's in danger, are you allowed to shoot the person?
Yes.
In defense?
Depending
so
on
that
where
means
the
based on your
laws
argument,
depend.
So based on your argument, when Nick Soto was driving his car, any of those left-wing people could have shot him.
No, because those people were not conducting law enforcement operation.
No, but your argument isn't whether it's law enforcement. Your argument is whether it's self-defense. Whether your life's in danger, sorry.
And I want to make this point as a graduate of the Dallas Citizens Police Academy. And this is true, you can look it up. But in law enforcement training, one of the main things that they teach them is to use restraint. That is one of the most important things, that when you're in a high tense situation, you do not overreact. Literally, that is part of the training. If I'm just looking at it, I would assess that he overreacted a little bit. I mean, I know he got hit by a car, but it looked like he was still on his feet. If he would have got knocked off his feet, then I could have been like, oh man, he really was worried. But he was never off his 2 feet. As a matter of fact,
he shot after that.
I'm saying he had enough of a stable ground. He shot her right in the head, and then when she died, he's saying, fucking bitch.
He didn't know that she was dead then, first of all. Second of all, he just got hit by a car.
But why not let them get aid? I know, but when a doctor comes...
He didn't prevent her from getting aid. That was other police. That was other police officers.
I know. Well, if somebody gets shot and you prevent them from getting aid, your job is to protect and serve.
Okay, so no, what they were doing is they were protecting the crime scene because the police and fire authorities were there. The police had their own EMTs and they were on their way down there. The people that are on the side of the road that are saying, I'm a doctor, you don't know that person. You don't know what they are. You don't know what they're doing. So what you're saying is they should have allowed a bystander to go and contaminate a crime scene. You're not going to do that. The police will never do that.
He also shot before and after.
Contaminate a crime scene. I mean, somebody's dying in a car. I think that you would try to do anything to save their life.
But the point is, there were already EMTs on the way down the street, right? There were already EMTs on the scene. They would have the EMTs from the police department go down there and say, hey, look, we're going to take care of it, because if you let someone else go down there, you actually contaminate a crime scene. And whether or not that is something that we like, that is policy with police departments nationwide.
How far were the EMTs? Because I never saw them.
I don't know.
I never saw him either.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the fact that the police will have state officials go to render aid as opposed to bystanders, because you don't know.
Well, Phil,
if a bystander says, "Oh, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to help," you don't know that guy's an actual EMT. You have no idea who this random person is.
What about during the next pandemic? They say that you can't go go play in your band because you're not vaccinated, and then an ICE agent tries to prevent you from doing whatever you legally feel like you could do, and then they shot you. Because this is the problem, is that we say that in this instant, because she's a libtard, oh, we can celebrate it, it's not a big deal. But very easily, this could be turned against us that are either anti-vax or anti-government. So if you can't see
I'm not coming from
like
this.
Jan 6.
I'm not coming from this from a political perspective, because I'm a gun guy. I have a gun on me right now. Okay, I carry a gun. I've gone to multiple gun classes, and the things that you go over in the classes generally are the legalities of what happens if you get into a self-defense situation. And I'm telling you the policies of the police station, or the police department, or actually the feds in this case, but because that is what they're going to go by. We can pick it apart and say, well, he should have this, or that person should have that, or look at where her wheels were pointing, blah blah blah. None of that stuff actually matters when it comes to what the feds are going to say. That's why he hasn't been charged. He hasn't been charged, and this is one of the things that I said day one. I was like, he's not.
No, but he's not going to. But when he's not charged, that doesn't provide proof, because the claim from the left is the reason he's not being charged is because this was state supported. The state
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the claim from the left is, because they're going to claim that it was that the government did everything wrong anyways.
No, but if it was the other way around, you guys, if let's say Biden was in charge, you guys be like, oh, Biden basically is allowing the murder of Republicans.
You could say you guys, but when Ashley Babbitt was killed, I wasn't one of the guys out there screaming about it.
And the second point is, when you look at what he did, he shoots, then allegedly the car hits him, and then he shoots maybe 2 or 3 times more. So 3 times a total. Okay, so 2 times more. So it means, like, for example, his hit clearly wasn't bad enough that he still managed to shoot through the side mirror 2 more times.
Yeah, I want to know about that. If he's got to explain every bullet, I heard pop. Pop, pop, pop is what I heard. He shot her once. She drove and started to drive away, and then he fired 3 more at her while she was driving away. Is that to protect so she didn't pull out a gun and turn around and shoot at him? Is that why he finished her off?
No, it was all within a sec. Like, we're expecting superhuman level. Like, the entire argument is, like, look, we're not expecting perfection. Like, of course, every time there's going to be a police-involved shooting, it's not going to be, like, this beautiful, perfect incident. Like, these things are messy. The reality is when you accelerate towards a police officer, you need to, like, understand that they do have the right to return fire, because you're using your vehicle as a deadly weapon.
If a cop thinks you're coming at him and they shoot you, and then you turn and run away, and they shoot you 3 more times while you're running away, is that murder?
It all depends on what the situation is.
If it was like 5 seconds gone by, there could be a conversation. No, but again, we're talking about, like, in the space of a second, this is all going on.
To your exact point, if the police believe that you are going, if you're running away with a gun, right?
They'll finish you off because they think you could turn around and shoot.
Hold on, let me finish. If you're running away with a gun, the police can shoot you in the back because there is a reasonable fear that you are going to cause harm to someone else.
And that car is a 2,000-pound bullet, basically.
Hold on, let me finish. If you don't have a gun, then the police cannot shoot you in the back if you're running away. If you have a gun, because the situation is there a reasonable fear that you're going to harm someone else after the engagement?
So is someone driving a car away reasonable?
Is there a reasonable fear who's going to even be hurt? Oh, come on.
I don't think that.
That's why the police. That's why the police.
The context I'm talking about with Ian is different from the one that we're talking about.
Yeah,
with the car.
With the car. He didn't see a gun. Wait, hold on. Let me finish this. She didn't see. The cop didn't see a gun. He had no reason to think that a car driving away from him was going to cause immediate threat to anybody. So why did he fire those extra 3 shots? It felt like he already had decided he's going to kill her.
A car that's being pursued by the police. That's why they have pit maneuvers. Because again, a car on the loose, being pursued by police, that is going to be considered a threat against the public, and that's why the police have the authority to conduct pit maneuvers. So if you're going to say, well, he has zero right whatsoever. Again, this is all within the space of a second, so I think this is a moot point anyway. But even in that instance, then you have to be against like pit maneuvers. I mean, these are things that the police
pit maneuvers
use
isn't shooting the driver in the head. That's different.
It's still like there's still a threat of death.
It's a non-lethal way to get them.
Pit maneuvers absolutely
pit maneuvers
lethal.
is intended to be non-lethal. You're supposed to run their car off the road and arrest them with a pit maneuver. If you want to kill them, you could kill them.
The pit maneuvers are done at like 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's not
the
ideal.
Police are making the calculations to probably kill them or severely. The purpose
the goal is not to kill them.
To your point, they actually make it in some states. It's not. You're actually not. Cops are not even legally allowed to chase people on motorcycles because they don't want the person to die on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm
you
just
got
saying,
somebody a serious felony crime, but they're on a motorcycle and they don't want to chase him, so that person dies. So why do they try to respect his life in that situation, but we don't respect Renee's good life?
Well, it's more about the point of these operations are about incapacitation. So you're trying to incapacitate the criminal in whatever manner that looks like.
Not kill, though, right? You're supposed to do it in a non-lethal way.
You need to do whatever you can do to incapacitate the criminal, whether that's death, whether it's not. That's besides the point. The point is protecting the public.
Wouldn't you say that they should err on the side of non-lethal
No,
force?
because this is the shoot him in the leg argument that you're making. You can't when you're using a gun in a defensive situation, you shoot to stop the threat. You don't shoot to.
Well, then why didn't you shoot her tire out?
Why didn't you shoot him in the leg?
I mean, that would require Rambo level abilities of
the point is
talent.
When you choose to be a cop, and I know
no police officer is trained to do that,
but I don't think anybody's asking him to be superhuman. I just think that if you just look at it, and I get it, there's everybody can watch the same clip and have a different interpretation of it. It's like if you're standing across the room from somebody and I draw a 6, it's going to look like a 9 to somebody else. So people can look at the same exact thing and have a totally different interpretation of it. But when it comes down to it, Tim Dillon did say it best. This is an ICE agent. This guy's like basically a fake cop. You know what I mean? He probably signed on for the $50,000 bonus. I don't know how much time he spent. How much time did he spend in the field?
He deployed to Iraq.
Even worse. You got a guy with PTSD.
You're just giving him PTSD.
No, okay. Have you ever watched Caleb Hammer's podcast? Have you ever watched Caleb Hammer's podcast?
It is not true that every soldier.
Just answer my question. Have you ever watched Caleb Hammer?
I know who Caleb Hammer is.
What happens whenever he has a military vet on? What do they say? They're on disability.
No, but again,
every veteran is on disability. You can look it up. Over 90% of veterans are on disability.
You have PTSD.
So he has PTSD.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm making fun of you.
No, I guarantee. Well, look it up. I'm just saying. The majority of people that go serve in the military, they get disability for the rest of their life. Why do they say that? Because they say that they were near a bomb and they have PTSD. So that's even worse. So we're giving a guy a gun that probably was shot at, that probably does have PTSD. And so now he's nervous because he's thinking it's an Iraq. And really it's some lesbian broad.
This is totally fabrication. He did have PTSD as well.
It's
he had
not
additional PTSD because 6 months earlier, what he did was there was a criminal whose window he smashed into. He smashed into the guy's window, and then the guy drove off and dragged him around the street, and he had a lot of injuries. So he already had PTSD from that as well, and I think that's why he acted in a kind of insane manner.
So you're thinking this ICE agent is scared of a car driving at him because of a
like
previous
2 miles an hour, bro.
Everybody's going to be scared of a car driving.
So then, does he have PTSD and he was afraid, or was it not? Which one is it?
So he had PTSD. He shouldn't have been there. It was irrational to be fearful of a 2 mile an hour car.
So you're saying this reminds me of that time I got hit by a car. I bet you're just admitting that he wasn't afraid of being killed.
I would not be afraid of a car coming at 2 miles an hour. I just sidestepped, bro.
You should be into
applying things to the guy.
It happened in Baltimore.
How about answer this question? If he was just totally justified, why didn't other ICE agents shoot at the car?
Because he was the one that was
There was
directly
another
in front of the
guy right
car.
there. There was
He
another
was
guy
the
right
wasn't
one
there.
in front of the car.
Oh, so he's not allowed to mitigate the threat? So the other cop's not allowed to
Because
mitigate
the whole
threat?
argument's based on
You're telling me
self-defense.
another cop... Oh, so you're telling me another cop couldn't protect another cop? Is that what you're saying? That's illegal?
I'm making the argument of
No,
self-defense.
you're retarded. No, what I'm saying is if you're a cop, you're supposed to enforce the law. So if you see another cop potentially getting hit by a car, you pull out your gun and you can shoot him, and he would be just as justified as the person that's getting hit by the car because he's a law enforcement agent. So if you're going to tell me that a cop
Alex,
can't prevent somebody, another cop from dying,
That doesn't
you're wrong.
That doesn't make the guy that's in front of the car. That doesn't mean that he's not allowed to use force
I know,
to
but I'm
stop
saying,
it.
why didn't the other guy start shooting as well?
I don't know, but just because the other guy didn't start shooting
because he didn't lose his
doesn't mean
mind.
that the guy that's actually in front of the car doesn't have the right to use force.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.